accommodate the MCO punya ODL lah, open book questions. So soalan ni lebih kurang soalan sem lepas lah. So for the first questions ni kita dah tengok kan? Dah tengok ke? Tawaruk ke dah tak ingat dah? Susah juga tengok macam ni. Okay. Can you please respond? You dengar tak I punya ni? Dengar, okay. So tak apa. So there are many types of syariah contract applied in IFI, such as exchange-based, charity-based, waiving contract and partnership contract. Each contract is based on explanation from the Quran, Sunnah and specific conditions. Contracting party must comply with all the conditions to make the contract valid. If you look at the questions, discuss briefly the applications of tawarruk in personal financing offered by Islamic bank. If this kind of question asked now, I think you can get full marks lah, sebab you mesti boleh cari dekat mana-mana macam mana application tawarruk ni kan. And then I already shared with you in the slide PowerPoint how is actually the applications of tawarruk in personal financing. Untuk A ni rasa ada masalah ke? Okay kan? Boleh? Boleh kan? Direct je soalan ni. And then B, explain two reasons for disclosing cost price to contracting party in murabahah syariah contract. Apa reason untuk disclose cost price to contracting party? It is the condition for murabahah. Kalau murabahah mesti kena disclose cost price. And then to avoid misunderstanding between the contracting party, and then so that the contracting party can have an information on how much is the cost and profit set by the seller. Okay, and then C, explain the application of musyarakah mutanakisah. Yang ni pun saya rasa boleh, tak ada masalah untuk jawab. Untuk question number 2, kalau ada soalan yang rasa macam tak boleh jawab, please inform me. Presentation of, should I record? I think I need to record. Oh, sini dah, sekarang dah tak boleh record ya. Dah habis dah contract dengan Google ni, so dah tak boleh record. So presentation of financial statement can differ from one to another as long as the statement are within the stipulated guidelines. In some jurisdictions, maksudnya among countries, regulatory authority may provide a specimen format of the financial statement to reduce presentation differences and to enhance comparability of the financial statements within the jurisdiction. Okay, the question, explain briefly two reasons for MASB to adopt IFRS to Islamic financial institution, since the IFRS may not be inclusive of the Islamic financial transaction. Ini soalan yang selalu ditanya lah. And I hope you know the answer. You can refer to the statement issued by MASB. Dalam statement tu, dia dah inform why MASB, I tak ingat lah, I tak boleh nak recall ya. Statement yang mana mention about the application of MASB accounting standard, walaupun ianya adalah conventional base, to be applied to Islamic financial institution. Okay. Kalau saya jumpa dalam ni, tak ada. Saya rasa saya dah bagi. Okay, and then describe two disclosure requirement in the MASB technical release I3. This one is to, because of MASB conventional base standard, it might not be sufficient to be used by Islamic financial institutions. That's why they issued also additional guidance or technical release. So that is what meant explained by the question. Disclose requirement in the MASB technical release ni adalah untuk guide the institution on preparing the financial statements. You need to look at the MASB technical release I3 lah, on what are the requirement. And then two differences in accounting equation. Ini ada yang tahu? Apa jawapannya?
Doktor nak try?
Okay.
If we say the components of the first difference in the accounting equation between MASB and the IFE-based financial reporting is in terms of statement of financial position.
Okay.
The SOP for MASB comprise of three components, which are the asset, liabilities, and the owner equity, while the LOFE, the SOP comprise of four components, which are asset, liabilities, owner's equity, and equity of investment account holder. The second difference in terms of presentation of investment account for the MASB, it does not directly address on how the restricted and unrestricted investment account should be presented, while for the IOFE, it immediately stated the presentation of the restricted investment account to be presented separately.
Okay. So for the investment account holder too, they are not sure whether to put it as owner's equity or liability. So that's why there is a separate item for that under the IOFE based financial reporting. Okay. And then, thank you. And then for this one is questions on governance. Yeah? The world has witnessed numerous high-profile corporate collapse and corporate malpractice due to weak and inefficient corporate governance, as well as bad business decision. Therefore, good governance is essential, even more so for IFI. Malaysia has established two-tier Sharia governance. Two-tier meaning Sharia Advisory Council at the Bank Negara Malaysia and Syariah Committee at the respective IFI, two-tier. Satu di Bank Negara, satu di institution. So discuss two functions of Syariah Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia. I think you can get this one from Syariah Governance Policy, yeah, to advise, okay, on to advise the board on Sharia matters, to make deliberation and decision, to monitor Sharia audit, Sharia review. So ada banyak lah. So kalau if you already tried to answer this kind of question, you can check whether you have the correct answer or not. And then explain the meaning of the foundation dimension of corporate governance. Okay, tauhidic epistemology, stakeholder oriented approach. So the meaning ni tak ada masalah lah. Meaning tauhidic epistemology, anyone? Ada yang tahu pasal tauhidic epistemology?
Can I try again?
Okay.
Tauhidic epistemology means everything created by Allah has a purpose and human beings are created to be vicegerents of Allah. In the terms of corporate governance of Islamic financial institution, it refers to the firm's obligation and objective to the stakeholder, the accountability to his own deeds as the foundation of the corporate governance in Islam.
Okay, so tauhidic approach will highlight on the accountability or taklif. Syura pun boleh masuk dalam tauhidic epistemology. Stakeholder oriented approach, meaning they will take consideration or fulfill for the interest of the stakeholder, the customer, government, any party that will be affected by the decisions of the institution. Explain 4 roles of Sharia compliance and research function. What are the functions? Yang 4 ni apa? Apa 4 functions tersebut? This one is referring to Sharia Governance Framework 2010. Yeah? Ada yang nak jawab? Four roles.
Doctor, do we need to separate it according to the like Sharia, according to the types of the Sharia first, and then their rules?
Four rules ni maksud dia adalah Sharia risk rules, Sharia research rules, Sharia audit rules and Sharia research yang ni lah research yang untuk compliance, Sharia review, Sharia audit and Sharia risk. So setiap satu tu you explain briefly je lah, sikit-sikit 2 marks each. Okay. Bukanlah untuk keseluruhan, tapi kalau untuk keseluruhan pun mestilah cover 4 function tersebut. Okay. And then risk. Islamic Financial Services Board issued FSB 1 in 2005. Kalau FSB 1 ni on risk management lah. An approach for Islamic financial instrument. FSB 1 states that the FI shall have in place a comprehensive risk management and reporting process to identify, measure, monitor, report and control relevant categories of risk. Importance of managing reputation risk. Reputation risk ni dia I ingat lagi, I rasa bila soalan ni ditanya, students tu dia tak perasan yang soalan tu adalah reputation risk, bukannya risk in general. Okay, so the importance of managing reputation risk, anyone boleh try? Nak tengok siapa yang ada.
Helps to minimize potential damage to IFI's reputation.
Okay. Importance. Okay, lagi? Managing reputational risk. give appropriate overview. Managing reputation risk in Islamic financial institution, give appropriate overview by the board of director and management to the shareholder about the profitability and market position of the IFI. Reputation could be at stake if there is a negative publicity. Okay. Ayat tak habis. Next, by managing reputational risk in IFI, Syariah non-compliant issue can be avoided. Dia nak the importance of it is to gain trust. Okay. Of course, a good perception will attract investors, okay, customers. So that is very important to manage risk, reputational risk. Discuss financial risk involved in mudarabah transactions. Mudarabah. So you kena tengok mudarabah punya transactions. First during the transaction, at the beginning of the transactions, at the end, itu mudarabah transactions, financial risk. Okay. Mudarabah, counterparty risk. Mudarabah. Adverse selection, problem of information asymmetry, and then counterparty risk. Okay. And then C, in istisna contract, market risk may occur if during the transaction period. Elaborate risk management that consists of strategy, structure, measure and monitor to reduce market risk. Okay, macam mana market risk boleh occur dalam istisna? How can actually market risk occur during istisna application? How actually it happened?
It happened when the valuation of the commodity and the pricing
And the pricing?
the pricing of the commodity which are not
Kalau istisna dia involve dengan the price of the material, for example. But istisna involve construction. So market risk might occur when there is a change of price in the material, cost of production increase and so on. Okay. So how to elaborate risk management that consists of strategy, structure and monitor ni, you akan refer kepada ni lah. Risk management ni risk management new ni. Kita tengok sikit. Okay, kenapa nak kena ada ni nak hilangkan benda ni macam mana? Market risk. So market risk, inilah yang dimaksudkan yang diminta strategi, structure, measuring, monitoring. So the market risk for istisna, market risk strategy. So kalau kita nak kaitkan dengan istisna, meaning the institution has to identify the risk appetite for the building, okay, for the material, cement, bricks and so on. Okay. In terms of structure, the institution should have a market risk management process, the framework for pricings of the building, of the material, valuation and income recognitions. And the institution must also have a strong management information system to report and quantifying market risk exposure and appropriate valuation of asset, okay, and monitoring and controlling appropriate capital. So you akan terangkan how to manage market risk uh, for specific untuk istisna. Okay. Okay. And then difference between syariah review, syariah audit, I rasa direct di soalan ni. Okay. Importance of having syariah audit framework. Anyone? Sorry lah ya, baru baca lagi. What are the importance of having syariah audit framework?
May I try, Madam?
Okay.
As a guideline for the auditors to conduct the Sharia audit,
Okay.
and to ensure that the auditors be in line with the objectives of the audit.
Okay. So that the auditor achieve the objective of the audit, a guideline. You can also add to ensure the quality of the audit perform is up to the standard, and then perceptions from the users of the Sharia audit report is to fulfill the expectations of the users of Sharia audit report. Okay, because they have a proper framework and so on. 4 challenges of Sharia audit practices. Ini pun soalan ni memang banyak kali ditanya macam-macam ya. Of course, limited human capital, unavailability of educational higher learning institutions that offer programs of Sharia audit, the requirement to fulfill the competency of Sharia auditor, which is to should have knowledge in Sharia and accounting. Susah nak cari people that have both types of qualification. Okay, so that's it. Any question untuk July 20?
No, Doctor.
Okay. Syariah non-compliance can trigger bank failure and cause systematic risk and instability of the Islamic. Okay. Okay. And then February 2021. Okay, ini kita dah tengok. Encik Amir ni kita dah discuss kan? Yang question tu dah ke?
Question tu belum.
Belum. Okay, if you look at the table, article ni illustrate the status of IFI standard application based on jurisdiction, meaning IFI issued standards, for example, accounting standard, Sharia standard, or here SS is a combination of accounting standard and auditing standard. Sharia standard. Okay. So This one is February 2021. So this table show that sebenarnya list ni ada panjang tapi saya ambil 5 saja. It shows for each country, for Bahrain for example, the government said that it is mandatory for Islamic financial institution in Bahrain to apply IOFI standard. Okay. For Brunei, it is voluntary. And then for Indonesia, they only apply or use Sharia guideline. For France, voluntary. For Malaysia, voluntary. Meaning it is not mandatory. Bila when the question asks the difference between accounting and Islamic accounting and conventional accounting, some students dia akan cakap Islamic accounting tu adalah IOFI standard. Dia tak semestinya macam tu Islamic accounting, IOFI standard is Islamic accounting, tapi dia tak, Islamic accounting tak semestinya IOFI. Ada banyak lagi standard ataupun there are other standard which is Syariah compliant tapi bukannya IOFI standard. Bukanlah kita kata kalau Islamic accounting tu mesti IOFI. Tak Okay. So explain briefly 3 reasons on why country adopt IOFI. Kalau Bahrain mandatory, Brunei voluntary, France voluntary, Malaysia voluntary. Kenapa ada yang adopt IOFI standard? What's your answer? Anyone?
Can I try, Doctor?
Yes.
Certain countries adopt IOFI standards when preparing the financial statement because the country is intended to increase the foreign investment as well as investors' confidence. These standards are to set up a production of financial statements that are transparent in the preparation of the financial statement, and it can be easily interpreted by the user.
Okay. You can say that to gain confidence from the user, you should add because IOFI standard is, ceritakanlah kebaikan IOFI standard tu is set by expert the who are siapa ataupun it is recognized standard. Okay, boleh. Other than that, okay, so why certain country adopt IOFI standard in addition to what your friends mentioned just now is might be the enforcement by their government, okay, as enforcement by the home regulatory body, okay, and then maybe because of compatibility of the IOFI standard with the IFI operations of the country. Memang sesuai compatibility of IFI standard to be applied in the IFI operations of the country. And then macam yang tadi inform, sorry tak tahu nama, acceptance or recognitions of IFI standard globally. Okay. And then benefit on the implementation of Islamic accounting standard. Benefit ni banyaklah ini saya ada banyak share dalam slide. Consistency, reduce audit cost, auditing efficiency increase, reduce trade barrier. Okay, so 3 benefit. Explanation tu should have 3 points, so 3 times 3 dapat 9 marks lah. Okay, so the IMB disclose information of contribution to CSR. Ni macam dah buat tu soalan ni. It shows that BHB contribute more. Okay. Explain 3 ways on how bank can uphold the Islamic principle by disclosing those amounts. Why should the bank disclose this in the annual report? Kenapa dia kena inform the users of information that they actually made this donation or contribution? Okay, how actually by disclosing this amount can say they uphold Islamic principles? Explain 3 ways on how bank can uphold Islamic principles by disclosing those amounts. Okay, anyone?
To show that they are fulfilling their responsibility to the community.
Okay. Responsibility to community, nak kaitkan dengan Islamic principles yang mana?
Doktor,
Yes.
boleh kaitkan dengan yang
critique over the lack of social responsibility, which kita kaitkan dengan yang social responsibility principle tu.
Okay, corporate social responsibility dimensions, boleh? So that's why when they disclose this amount, they show that they are responsibility, they show they are responsible to the community, which is in line with the CSR dimension. Terangkanlah tu. Okay. Apart from that, maybe you can highlight on the social obligation to safeguard not only relationship with Allah but relationship with human. Okay. Maybe to achieve maqasid syariah, balancing profit and social welfare. Or you can also add to show amanah, so that they are clear on where did they contribute the money to. Amanah lagi apa? Full disclosure, transparency, macam-macam boleh ni. And then approach to ensure Syariah Committee perform effectively. Approach by the institution. Macam mana dia nak pastikan Syariah Committee perform effectively? Ini by the institution ya, bukan by Bank Negara Malaysia.
Sejak doktor tak jumpa saya buat kat mana.
Okay. Dia macam message masuk. Allocate sufficient resources for continuous development of skill and expertise of Syariah Committee. Boleh. Okay, good one. For training. Okay. Ensuring that Syariah decision or advice are made on a sound and well-informed basis, including based on robust decision-making methodology, which ensure that all business, operation and risk implications are considered by Syariah Committee. Okay, boleh. Okay. And provide resources, boleh. Okay. And then compliance with Bank Negara Malaysia requirement on the appointment and dismissal of Syariah Committee, mesti dengan authorization of Bank Negara Malaysia. Okay. And then
Madam,
yes,
kalau selection of the right candidates,
selection of the right candidates with the authorization from Bank Negara Malaysia.
oh sama dengan tadi punya point Madam lah. Okay.
Okay. okay, to ensure that the board follow the advice of Sharia committee, and then to ensure that the Sharia committee decisions are in line with Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia. Okay. Okay. Risk. Okay. The question show you the risk management policy of Maybank. Okay, explain 3 advantage of Maybank Islamic for taking action as mentioned above when managing credit risk. Dia ada credit approving process, bank credit risk, developing, enhancing, communicating consistent credit risk management policy across the bank to ensure appropriate standards are in place. Okay. Risk-based authority limit structure was implemented. Okay. 3 advantages. Okay. Apa advantages dia?
Can I try to tell
Yes?
the advantage of the advantage in managing the credit risk for the Maybank Islamic is the Maybank will ensure the credit policies are followed in accordance with the IFI.
Okay. By having dia ada apa ya? Policies, by having a credit risk management policy, Maybank is following the FSB guideline. Kan? Kalau you tengok FSB guideline tu, dia ada requires the FI to have policy. Okay. So following the FSB risk management guiding principles. Okay, itu satu. And then to ensure that all branches of the bank aware about the credit risk management policy, tools and methodologies, so that they are working together in managing credit risk effectively. And then of course lah, to avoid credit risk, possibility of loss resulting from the borrower's failure to to repay. Okay. So to avoid loss, to avoid uncertainty of net income, itu in general lah of why there is the need to manage a credit risk. Okay. Okay. Any question? This one, part 4A.
Doctor, so that the answer for question A is in general about the credit risk.
In general boleh terima juga, ataupun isu dia sekarang ni, apa yang dia dah highlight kat sini adalah dia communicate polisi dia kepada across the branch, kan? Itu satu. Satu lagi dia nak inform yang dia ada polisi. So itu spesifik lah. Spesifik, kalau dia ada polisi means they are in line with the FSB guiding principles. Kalau dia communicating, so we can say to ensure all the whole organisation aware of the policy. Itu yang spesifik lah. Yang general of course lah. Yang you cakap tadi, nak avoid loss because of failure of the borrower to repay. Okay.
Okay, Doctor, thank you.
Okay, B ni soalan dia susah sikit lah. Soalan risk biasa susah sikit lah. FSB issued a guideline. Okay. KFH offer financing under murabahah contract to finance domestic or international trade document against inward bills for collection or open account. Ini maksudnya business financing. Business financing using murabahah. Dia punya transactions ataupun proses, KFH purchase or appoint customer as an agent to purchase the good on its behalf. And then KFH pay the supplier. Okay. And then KFH sells the good to the customer, cost plus profit. Customer will undertake to settle the selling price on the maturity date. Okay. Contoh ni sebenarnya sama juga macam contoh beli kereta. Ya. Bank appoint customer untuk beli kereta. Okay. And then bila dealer tu hantar kereta, bank bayar kepada dealer. Lepas tu bank jual kereta kepada customer, cost plus profit, and then customer bayar. Dia sama je sebenarnya. Okay. So, how bank manage all risks that relate to murabahah? Okay. So, how to answer this is you look at what types of risks that occur in murabahah. Okay. At the beginning, during the transactions and at the end, what types of risk that might occur dalam murabahah ni?
Financial risk.
Financial risk tu apa type of risk?
Market risk, exposed to market risk.
Oh, market risk and one more? Ada satu lagi type of risk.
Operational.
Tak ada.
Credit risk.
Credit risk. Ya, market risk dengan credit risk. Okay. So you terangkan macam mana market risk tersebut boleh berlaku, which is when the customer dia tak nak beli goods tersebut, reluctant or refuse to purchase the goods. So the bank is stuck with the goods. So there is a market risk occur when the price of the goods change. And then market risk is when the customer purchase the good but unable to pay on time. So credit risk. Okay, how to manage market risk is by what? Hmm? How to manage market risk?
Make the promise binding on the buyer.
Promise bind, betul. You boleh refer kepada SB1 ni ataupun boleh refer kepada notes dia. Okay, lagi apa? Itu make the promise bind. Itu untuk market risk. Boleh juga kalau you nak tunjukkan ni lah ya, kena ada polisi. Okay. Okay. Market risk, there is a need to establish a sound and comprehensive market risk. Ini boleh juga. Ataupun you ambil to bind the promise. Okay. Credit risk, how to manage, frequent contact with the counterparty, debt scheduling, boleh lah. Okay. So, is it clear on how to answer this? You tengok dia tak ada tanya direct macam mana nak manage market risk macam soalan yang sebelum ni. Tapi dia kaitkan dengan murabahah, dia kaitkan dengan produk apa. So bila you nak jawab pun you kena relatekan kepada produk. Is it clear? Kalau macam soalan yang 5 series tadi tu, soalan dia direct saja kan? Tapi yang ni dia combine. Boleh tak? Macam mana dia jadi susah. Okay. And then question number 5, A and B sahaja. 3 actions that can be performed by government in assisting. Okay, apa dia punya requirement? Requirement dia adalah IFI must ensure that internal audit, perform sharing audit are qualified. So macam mana kita nak pastikan? Action by apa? Performed by the government. Ya? How actually the government assist IFI so that IFI can have a qualified Sharia auditor. So how? Macam mana?
Can we relate with by giving training to the internal auditor about the Sharia?
Boleh. Cuma sekarang ni perform by government. Maksudnya government tu yang bagi training. Ya? Bukannya yelah macam tak berapa sesuai tapi boleh lah. Mungkin lah government akan ada bagi training through Bank Negara Malaysia for example. Okay. Ataupun Bank Negara, the government can provide sponsorship. Kan? For the training of Sharia auditor. Sponsorship, lagi apa? Insentif kepada IFI. Apa lagi government boleh buat? maybe government bagi contohlah tax relief for the institutions that conduct training for Sharia auditor. Government encourage the higher learning institutions to offer programs suitable for Sharia auditor. Boleh?
Doktor, boleh kaitkan juga ke dengan ada inisiatif taken by Malaysia macam contohnya strengthening synergy between financial center tu?
Boleh? Synergy boleh, collaboration boleh? Atau ya boleh. And then last, elaborate 4 challenges of Sharia audit in development of fintech COVID-19. Ada 2 isu di situ, fintech dan COVID-19. Okay. So yang ni challenges competency skills to have key skills or to apply or to use specific audit system. And then apa lagi? Apa challenges lagi? Apa challenges lagi? Nanti you kena bila you nak jawab soalan ni, kalau you nak discuss dengan kawan-kawan ke, you boleh discuss, dapat idea sebab kalau masa ni baru you nak termenung mencari jawapan, susah lah
Doctor, if we say that the development of fintech industry still in the development, not fully implemented by the countries.
Okay.
So the knowledge about the fintech in conducting the Sharia audit are still low among the auditors, Sharia auditors.
Boleh? Knowledge and skills lah, issue of knowledge and skills lah Okay.
Doktor, kalau kita cakap pasal kan fintech ni still in the development. So bila something in development, we need to do some kind like a training program or a kursus macam tu. But then since it is COVID-19, therefore we can do that training program and so on.
Boleh? Good answer, boleh. A challenge to conduct training in order to increase competency of the Sharia auditor because of the pandemic COVID-19, unable to attend training and so on, boleh? And then boleh juga you cakap during COVID-19 the use of internet banking is more, and maybe there is a high possibility of fraud. security of personal data. So it is China auditor must have skills to detect this kind of non-compliance fraud and so on. Boleh juga. Okay. So 4 challenges. Okay. And then last one, last semester. Okay. Kalau explain macam ni, applications of musyarakah mutanah kisah ni saya rasa tak ada masalah lah. Dia memang cuma bila you nak explain application of certain syariah contract, dia mesti daripada mula sampailah customer tu dapat rumah tu. Jangan sampai tengah je. Kalau applications of tawaruk for personal financing, daripada mula nak apply sampailah customer tu dapat duit, sampai customer tu bayar full settlement. Okay. Macam ni sampailah rumah tersebut jadi hak milik customer sampai settle payment. Okay. Jangan sampai tengah-tengah so dia tak dapat 10 markah lah. Jangan berhenti di tengah-tengah. Kan you dah tahu dia punya steps tu kan. Okay. And then this one is on product disclosure sheet, why reveal low level of awareness, benefit of PDS, ini pun you dah tahu dalam assignment ada. Factors of low awareness, kenapa ada low awareness? Why do we think low awareness? Customer ni tak tahu pun pasal PDS ni. What are the reasons?
The reason of low awareness for the consumer about the product disclosure sheet is because the consumer or the customer are in rushing to enter the contract offer by the bank.
Apa dia? Point apa? I dah miss satu kataan tu. Reluctant tu yang sebelum tu.
The customer are in rushing
Oh, okay.
to get
Dia focus on getting approval je. Without
without knowing the product disclosure sheet.
Without any concerns on product disclosure sheet. Okay. For them, it is very important to get approval of their application. So they take things for granted, for example. Okay. And then what else? Maybe some institutions, they will only give the product disclosure sheet after the customer decide that they want to apply for financing at their bank. Bila dia dah nak apply, dah setuju, baru dia nak tunjuk product disclosure sheet. So customer are not aware that they can have a look at the product disclosure sheet beforehand. And then lack of understanding. Bila tengok tahu ada kan, but then they do not appreciate the information tu because they do not understand what are the contents about. It's all about. Okay, so that might be the factors of low awareness among consumer of PDS. Ini pun sama soalan ni, 2 reasons to accept substance over form. Bukan. This one, concept substance over form, ada tak buku dekat sini? Accounting. Uh, the question asks you, MASB decide to accept concept substance over form. Okay, two reasons to accept. Okay, substance over form, they accept because of the because of the Islamic legal maxim. In Malaysia, the concept of substance over form is welcomed by Sharia Advisory Committee of Bank Negara Malaysia, documented through Bank Negara Malaysia Sharia Resolution in Islamic Finance. 10 apa? This one, accessible here. Okay. In that document, SAC agreed that substance over form are equally important and highly taken into consideration. Ni boleh juga diambil sebagai answers. It was further explained that Sharia emphasized that substance over form must be consistent and shall not contradict one another, and in the event of inconsistency between the two, due to certain factor, Sharia places greater importance on substance rather than form. The basis is the Islamic legal maxim. Matters are determined according to intention. In contract, effect is given to intention and meaning, and neither words nor form. Okay, bila you dapat jawapan, katakan, oh dah dapat dah jawapan tu, tolonglah jangan copy kat sini and then paste kat jawapan tu. Sekarang ni tak ada paste lah. Janganlah you tulis saja without you rephrase. You rephrase accordingly to the questions. This is important. Kalau you just ambil saja, dia maybe not sufficiently or accurately answering the questions. Mungkin contoh macam ada jawapan di dalam test, dah tak ingat sama ada group ni ataupun yang lain. Yang mana ada je you ambil. Ada je you ambil. Padahal yang content kepada artikel tersebut cerita pasal perkara lain. Okay, of course the point are there. So, but you need to extract lah, to rephrase accordingly. Jangan main ambil saja ya. Strategy to ensure successful harmonization, meetings, conferences, okay. Discussion, enforcement. Yang ni counter yang tadi kenapa tak boleh, yang ni kenapa boleh ya. Okay. Ini pun soalan benefit of disclosing information pun boleh ambil yang sama juga. To show in line with maqasid, transparency, to show ini soalannya kalau dibaca, explain 3 benefit of disclosing information on contribution of CSR and Sadaqah House. Soalan dia bukan dia tanya benefit you buat donation, tapi benefit you disclose information. Okay. So, to show that they, you masukkan the benefit of donation boleh. untuk menunjukkan bahawa dia protect in line with maqasid syariah, to show to the stakeholder that they preserve the relationship among with people, not only with Allah, okay, to ensure sufficient information for the stakeholder to make decision. Macam-macam lah. Tapi itulah, please read the question carefully. Kalau 3, meaning 3 times 3. Kalau you tengok markah yang banyak adalah dalam soalan race. Okay. 25. Okay. Banyak markah yang besar, yang ni 20. So, yang mana yang markahnya lower ni, do not spend too much time answering question with lower marks. Ataupun the elaboration might be just sufficient enough to get 4 marks. Janganlah panjang lebar sangat. Ya. Okay. B, 3 recommendation to ensure Sharia governance are practiced according to Sharia governance policy. Macam mana? Apa recommendations dia?
The Sharia committee needs to update board on any Sharia issue or matter that may affect safety and soundness of Islamic financial institution.
Boleh. Bila you nak jawab soalan ni, you boleh cakap the bank buat perkara ni, yang mana perkara tu required by Sharia governance policy. Boleh? To show that they practice accordingly lah. Kalau Sharia governance policy kata to have qualified Sharia committee. So, you boleh cakap Islamic financial institution should have appointed Sharia committee which specific qualification ini as stated by Sharia governance policy. So that they show they are in compliance. Boleh juga. Ataupun you can explain how actually Bank Negara Malaysia wants to ensure that the bank comply. Ni kan, dia tak tulis recommendation to whom, ya. Katakan to Bank Negara Malaysia, macam mana dia nak pastikan Syariah governance policy ni dipatuhi? How? Anyone? Macam mana nak pastikan dia follow?
Madam, kalau buat random inspection,
Boleh? Bukan random inspection, dia buat audit.
buat audit.
Audit from Bank Negara Malaysia, monitoring from Bank Negara Malaysia. If there is any non-compliance, there are the penalty because they do not comply with the Central Bank Act. Kalau Central Bank Act, section mana saya tak ingat, tapi dia sebut yang institution mesti comply dengan mana-mana guideline yang issued by Bank Negara Malaysia. So they do not comply with the Act. Okay, and then dalam Islamic Financial Services Act, kalau dia tak comply with the requirement, they will get fine, penalty and so on. Okay, so enforcement by the Bank Negara Malaysia, audit by internal auditor boleh, Audit by external audit boleh, enforcement of Islamic Financial Services Act, ataupun Bank Negara Malaysia bagi training, boleh, promote. Okay, kalau tak faham kenapa tak comply dan sebagainya. Okay. Rasa boleh jawab tak soalan final ni? Ni last paper kan?
Doktor.
So you boleh fokus lah sepatutnya. Sebelum tu ada paper jauh ke ni jarak masa? Hari apa yang second last?
Second last 18.2.
Lama tu. Kenapa lah dia letak lama sangat, lambat sangat paper. I ni dah suspend I seorang nak marking ni 62 student. Doakanlah I dapat survive. 22 hari bulan tu I tak boleh senyum lah. Sibuk nak marking.
Kita orang mendoakan kita orang boleh survive juga.
Okay. Ni soalan advantage. Janganlah you buat ayat panjang-panjang sangat ya. Tolonglah. Ataupun you highlight kalau point mana yang you rasa okay, ini point dia you highlight. Senang nak nampak terus. Terus bagi markah. Kalau ada je bagi je ya. Okay.
Okay, Doktor.
Jangan buat panjang lebar. Mana intronya panjang. Intro sikit-sikit dah.
Doktor, kalau kita orang jawab yang macam point dia tu kita orang boldkan. And then explanation tu yang kat bawah macam tu okay ke?
Okay.
Okay.
Ataupun buat heading dulu tu explain. Heading dulu explain. Boleh juga.
Okay.
Kalau ada 4 kan. Bolehlah 1, 2, 3, 4. Ini panjang satu page tu. Macam novel. Macam cerpen tau. I nak baca. Ya Allah. Tolonglah.
Faham.
Dia macam first. I nak cari. Okay, katakan I dah dapat kan. Bila I dah baca, okay first. Dah settle dah ni. Kena baca bila nak sampai yang second ni kan. Oh, kat bawah tu. Next. Kan. Itulah. Pandai lah you all ya. Okay. So yang ni, soalan ni, 3 advantage, settle ni. Advantage ni senang. Ni soalan dia lain sikit ni. Risk. Market risk occur. Ni explanation of market risk. Elaborate for example how market risk occur. So, you terangkanlah market risk dalam murabahah, market risk dalam istisna, ijarah, salam. Yang mana yang ada market risk lah? 4 example. Okay. Soalan, just nak tanya soalan tu faham ke tak? Rasa boleh cari tak jawapan ni? Boleh tak?
Saya sebenarnya macam confused sikit nak kaitkan risk tu dengan soalan. Macam tadi pun saya macam yang Maybank tu pun saya macam blur sikit.
Kat mana? Kalau yang ni okey.
Sekejap.
Saya punya pen tak bawa, tak boleh nak conteng.
Doctor, for this question, we need to relate the before transaction, during transaction and the closing.
Elaborate for example how market risk occur. Contoh, murabahah. Okay, so you cakap lah. Market risk occur in murabahah during during the beginning of transaction. If the promise is not binding. Cerita jugalah apa dia. Solomon Island. Okay. So, ini yang turunkan. So, dapat 1. Okay. Salam ada tak market risk? Ni. When the supplier fail to supply, So market risk occur in salam transaction when the supplier fail to supply. Tapi dia 4 marks ya. So you kena terangkan jugalah salam ni apa. And then bila dia ni akan occur. Istisna pun ada market risk juga. Okay, istisna is refer to the syariah contract that involve constructions. Where the payment is made to the contractor. Terangkanlah apa dia istisna. Okay. Market risk might occur if the cost of production increase during the process of manufacturing or constructing the building. So market risk. Ada lagi tak di sini? Contohlah yang mana ada market risk.
Musyarakah. So maknanya kalau macam ni kita cari mode financing yang mana terlibat dengan risk yang dia nak tu and then explanation. Okay, faham.
Okay, so itu risk. Ada lagi yang tak clear ni? Elaborate, for example, how market risk might occur in Islamic mode of financing ni maksudnya tadilah. Kalau you nak go beyond that, contoh macam murabahah, you nak kaitkan pula dengan vehicle financing. Bolehlah kalau you rajin. Sebab dia ada 3, dia ada okay. Kita dah tahu market risk mungkin akan occur dalam murabahah contoh. Murabahah mungkin boleh kita gunakan dalam vehicle financing. Okay. Tengoklah soalan tu macam mana. Kalau dia tanya, what are the risks that might occur in vehicle financing? So you kena terangkan vehicle financing satu. Contoh ya. So vehicle financing tu guna syariah kontrak apa? Kalau guna murabahah, you terangkanlah yang murabahah yang ni. Okay. Kalau you nak cakap vehicle financing tu, you kata you nak guna ITAB, Al-Ijarah Sumabai. So you terangkanlah risk dalam Al-Ijarah Sumabai, mungkin dalam ijarah. Faham tak? Maksud ni. Dalam ni tak ada ijarah ya, dalam buku ada. Okay, itu maksud dia. Last ni audit. Okay. Islamic financial institution must ensure that all product and service are promoted according to Sharia. Sharia audit must prepare Sharia audit program. Ini saya dah tunjukkan dah dalam ni. Sharia audit ni ada tak Sharia audit? Nampak lah WhatsApp saya, tak apalah ya, abaikan lah ya. Kuah kari ada lagi tu semua. Okay, audit program. Audit program. Ini syariah audit program. Okay. Okay, ini syariah audit program. Sharia auditor must prepare comprehensive Sharia audit program that consists of audit objective and audit process. Okay. Tadi, kat mana tadi? Buka kat mana tadi ya? Okay. Audit objective and audit process. Okay. Sharia auditor must prepare comprehensive Sharia audit program that consists information such as audit objective and audit process. Ini example lah. Bagi example tu, takut you all tak faham apa nak perlu jawab, dibagi jawapan ya. Explain 3 objective of audit process to ensure that marketing activities are complying with Syariah. Point dia adalah marketing. Okey, sekarang ni audit program ni untuk audit apa ni? Audit program ni untuk audit apa? For what? Syariah audit program for what? For what?
Is it the function of the Sharia audit program?
Ini soalan ni, ini adalah audit program yang disediakan untuk audit financial statement. Okey, faham tak? Bila kita nak buat audit, kita kena prepare audit program. Okey, sekarang ni kita nak audit apa? Audit financial statement. So kita kena prepare audit program. Audit objektif dia kita nak tengok whether all income received are Syariah compliant. So macam mana kita nak pastikan income received are Syariah compliant? Review lah accounts. Especially financing and investment. Audit objektif kita nak assess semua expenses adalah Syariah compliant. Audit proses dia review lah expenses account. Is it clear?
Which mean kita kena, bila kita explain audit objektif tu, kita kena explain sekali yang audit proses dia tu. Oh, okay, faham.
Okay, katakan soalan ni dia nak marketing activities. So you nak audit objektif dia apa? Kalau kita nak audit marketing, kita nak pastikan content dia Syariah compliant kan?
Kena check expenses tu. Assess whether all expenses.
Dan kita nak tengok marketing ni. Marketing.
Oh.
Macam mana kita nak pastikan marketing tu Syariah compliant? Kita tengok comply ke tidak dengan requirement dalam audit proses. Apa lagi? Kita nak pastikan staff yang buat marketing tu knowledgeable lah kan. Takkan dia tak boleh nak terangkan pasal Syariah contract tu. So macam mana you nak pastikan? You nak check apa kalau nak pastikan staff tu competent? Apa audit proses dia? Macam mana dia nak pastikan? Nak buat audit ni? Nak tengok staff dia okey ke tak? Qualified ke tak?
Look the achievement of the staff.
Okay, achievement, qualification, dia ada pergi training ke tidak? Kan?
Yes.
Okay. Apa lagi audit objektif? Kita nak pastikan marketing tu tidak misleading lah. So apa audit proses dia? Macam mana kita nak tahu bahawa marketing tu tak misleading? So audit proses dia kita tengoklah terms and conditions. Ni ada yang saya tunjukkan contoh masa bagi lecture tu rasanya. Itulah dia. So yang saya bagi contoh ni tu saya dah cakap masa tu you form a group lah tengok. Kalau kita nak audit marketing nak buat apa? Audit proses. Ya. Ini financial statement. Ya. Ini kalau nak audit governance. Saya bagi dua. Ini bagi dua saja contoh. So that you can have an idea of what you boleh figure out sendiri lah. Sebab you all pun dah belajar, dah ambil paper audit semua kan. So ini 3 saja. 3 audit proses dengan audit objektif untuk marketing. Tengok content dia, tengok staff dia, tengok terms and conditions dia. Okay. Good criteria of Sharia audit function. Good criteria. Of course lah. Apa dia good criteria of Sharia audit function ni? You dah tahu audit tu apa? Apakah good criteria of Sharia audit function? Macam mana nak pastikan audit tu berkesan? Macam-macam boleh jawab ni. Macam-macam point.
The Sharia audit functions in accordance with the standard of Islamic financial institutions.
Okay. Cumanya untuk audit dia tak ada specific standard. So you boleh cakap, ya? Yeah?
Kalau mention pasal have a good audit techniques.
Okay. Audit techniques, good. Follow standard tadi, you boleh cakap follow COSO framework ke, IPPF ke, Sharia governance policy ke, IOF standard ke, boleh. Mesti kena ada good evidence, ya. Proper plan, audit skill, knowledge in Sharia, knowledge in financial accounting, kalau ada Arabic ke, dapat good evidence. Apa yang good evidence? Evidence tu dikira bagus bila apa?
Sufficiency,
Sufficient.
appropriateness, reliability.
Okay, so itu semua dia dah belajar dah. So, okay, sebab dia punya proses Sharia audit ni sama sahaja. Yang berbeza tu adalah risk dan dia punya objektif. Dia punya tekniknya sama je. Okay. So I think that's all. Hopefully dapat banyaklah idea. Untuk dapat apa? Ilham ya. Ilham menjawab kan. Okay. Ada apa-apa soalan? Tak ada soalan?
Madam, kalau buat intro dapat markah tak?
Dia akan effect juga explanation yang kat bawah tu. Okey lah, tapi tak perlulah you terlampau panjang. Kalau macam 10 markah untuk 3 point kan. So 1 mark tu saya boleh bagi untuk intro. Dia tak boleh apalah intro panjang lebar.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay, madam.
Ada apa-apa soalan lagi? So I think that's all for today. Before that, ni saya nak belanja satu ni. Yang I share tadi ya. To you all. Okay. Saya nak belanja you all palam today. Tadi I beri ambil gambar ni tau untuk you all.
Wah.
Itulah dah semester.
Okay. Ini on the way. Nampak tak?
Nampak.
Nampak dah tu.
Nostalgia.
Tempat jalan kaki pergi kelas.
Okay. Sungguh hari tadi. Nanti datang sini ambil gambar kat fakulti perakaunan tu ya. Penai punya office. Okay, habis.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Doktor.
Okay, so minta maaf lah kalau ada salah silap. Ya. All the best, insyaAllah. Ya. Selamat berjaya. Okay. So, salah silap you all saya maafkan. Ya. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you so much, Madam. Sorry for our wrongdoings and like as students.
Thank you,
Take care.
Madam.
Stay
Okay.
safe.
Thank you, Doktor.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor.